Hi, this is Gina with your informational video for September 2016. We're going to talk about Mercury retrograde and then also the solar eclipse in Virgo and the lunar eclipse in Pisces. And I'm going to review in this video also the for those individuals that have these eclipses in their natal chart as part of their soul contracts, the physical symptoms in the body. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, so last month we let go of a bunch of things. We learned we had detachment. Uranus went retrograde. We, really started realizing, we let go of some things, but it wasn't really what we wanted to let go because Uranus is now retrograde. But Saturn is going direct in Sagittarius, so that has us now ready for, okay, I'm re-looking at some things now. I've already reviewed. Now I'm moving forward. Now, September really is going to be the game changer month. And the reason it's going to be the game changer month is we start right off, tomorrow is the 30th of September and we begin a retrograde motion of Virgo. Now, we've got the Sun in Virgo, Mercury, Venus in Virgo, and still Jupiter, at least until the 9th. And that's huge. So this month, it really is about information. It's about those details. It's about what steps needed to be taken. It's really, the theme for the month is clean up your act. That's the theme. That's basically it in a nutshell. And for each individual person, it's going to be different. And this information is just a basic informational video. In order to get information that's specific for you, you'll need to look at your natal chart as well as your progressed natal chart. And then you'll be able to get a good sense of how these eclipses will affect you. Now, eclipses is a universe's way of it's adjustment. It's us getting, something in our life adjusted. Eclipses are notorious for removing things or removing people or situations out of our lives. I mean, just today's the 29th. I turned on the TV and I saw Gene Wilder died. I was like, oh my gosh. So eclipses are also huge portals. They're portals for those souls that would like to make their transition during this time as well. So with this, this Mercury retrograde and eclipses, this really is about cleaning up our act. Now on the 1st, the eclipse in Virgo is it's an eclipse of the sun. So this is going to bring situations and people to light. Information is going to come forward for you. And it's not a time to act on that information because don't forget, Mercury's in retrograde, our minds. So Mercury is a planet of communication. It's a planet of the way that we see information, the way that we hear it, the way that we speak it, and the way that our mind processes it. Even if your Mercury isn't in, Virgo, the planet is still going to affect you. And it's going to affect the way that you are perceiving the information. So it's very important to see it when it comes in and process it. I would highly recommend that you don't necessarily act on it because this time is really going to be a time where we're not going to see those little details clearly. So it really is a time to just kind of wait and see how the chips fall because we have another eclipse following it less than 2 weeks later. So those people, I'm going to speak briefly about those people who have the Virgo eclipse, either solar or lunar in your birth chart as part of your soul contract, the physical symptoms of those contracts. So those people will be feeling these energies if they have these eclipses in their natal chart. So if your solar eclipse is in Virgo, you're here to teach the collective, you're here to teach humanity how to use their analytical abilities, how to not be so gullible. How to, understand that, people sometimes are not who they say they are, or situations are not how we're seeing them, not seeing them clearly. Okay. And those people who have their lunar eclipse means they're lesson in Virgo. The same rules apply. You need to see things clearly, take your time, pay attention to the details. Maybe, who's coming in or who you have around you isn't really, who they say they are. To be a little bit more careful and more analytical, to use those analytical abilities that you have to really see things because you have a tendency to not see people and situations clearly. Now, those people that do have that will have physical symptoms in their body if they're not learning their lesson or here to teach what they're here to teach, and those physical symptoms are the same. Because Mercury rules the mind rules the digestive tract. So how that will show up in your everyday life, if you're, once again, you have this in your natal chart, you could have problems with the digestive tract if you're not seeing things clearly and you're not processing it analytically, it can show up as constipation. Or if you're over processing it and picking it apart, it'll show up as exactly the opposite, the runs. So that's kind of how, that's how those people with those contracts, those are the physical symptoms in the body. So it's very important for those people when they eat to really retrain their body, because the mind actually rules the digestive tract. So it's really being able to digest all the nutrients that you're putting in your body. So not to talk, listen to TV, get your mind preoccupied. So you might not be able to digest all of those nutrients properly. Okay. So now listen, 2 weeks later, once again, we have a lunar eclipse. This time it's in the opposite sign, Pisces. So how that's going to affect you, Pisces is it's a lunar eclipse of the moon, so it has to do with emotion. The moon rules, and in Pisces it's going to be a lot more sensitive. So depending the information that's coming in on the first, you processing it, trying to figure out what decision Jupiter goes in on the 9th in Libra, you'll be able to kind of, process all that information and make a decision. But on the 16th, even if you make a decision, it's still going to be emotional. It's going to affect you. That's what the moon rules. The moon rules, what you need, your emotions, your feelings. And in Pisces, it might be very sensitive, depending upon what comes up for you. And, that's going to be kind of the game changer. So in between now and the 16th, as everything is coming to light, everything is coming out, and we're cleaning up our acts, so to speak. There could be some very strong emotions tied to that. Now, those people that have Pisces as a solar eclipse in your natal chart or your lunar eclipse, this information is for you. Those people will be, those areas affected. Those people with Pisces as a solar eclipse, you're here to teach those people that, have a lot of Virgo tendencies, and anything on the negative. Every sign's got a positive and a negative, and Virgo on the negative can be too critical. It can be too, too analytical. And you're here to teach those people to develop more empathy. So this kind of rounds out their character. It's good to use your analytical abilities, but not to be too critical, because then you're not going to be able to get anything done. Or people aren't, you could be somebody that criticizes. You might hear people are very critical, or they criticize people quite a bit. And so those people with those Pisces as a solar eclipse are here to teach them to use more empathy, to look at things a little bit with more compassion, more understanding, so that their own personality is able to get a little bit more well-rounded. Now, if you have it as your lunar eclipse, as your lesson, then you yourself have to develop spiritually in this lifetime. You're going to have psychic sensitivities. Both signs will, but the ones with the lunar will have it a little bit more stronger. And these people tend to, want to pay attention to their hunches. This information is coming from Creator. It's coming from Spirit, and it's there to guide you. You don't have to necessarily run out and be a psychic, but you could have psychic moments, or very intuitive moments, and your job is to allow those to flow through your body, because they're given to you from Creator. That's where both of these contracts come from. Okay, and the body, the physical areas of the body that will be affected if you have your lunar eclipse in Pisces or your solar eclipse in Pisces will be the feet. General irritations of the feet when you're not giving your gift or learning your lesson. This could be swelling, sweatiness, general irritations, corns, calluses, insteps. It can also be, depending upon, how proactive you are in your life with, where you are in your development. If you go long periods with not paying attention to these contracts, then the last line of Pisces is the last line of defense. It's the last line in the zodiac. You can tell the Mercury retrograde is starting to affect me. I can't speak. Pisces in the last line of the zodiac is also the equivalent to that would be your immune system. That's the last line of defense in your body. So that will become symptomatic. These people could, have problems with their lymph nodes. It's recommended that they also, get lymphatic drainage at least, once every 3 months, because they're going to be more susceptible to toxins in the body, taking in toxins. Okay. So, once again, this is for those individuals that have it as their part of their natal chart, as their solar or lunar eclipse. Okay, so once we're done with Mercury retrograde on the 22nd, we'll have a clear conscience, we would have made a decision. We understand that anything that gets taken away or any sort of drama or emotion, we all have to look within ourselves and realize, what part did we not see clearly? What part did we play in these situations? And how can we learn from any situations that, come in Virgo, as a game changer? Now, not all of this is going to be bad, but it's meant, these shifts are the universe's way of pushing us in the right direction. So enjoy your September month. Those people that don't, actually those people that have Mercury retrograde in your natal chart, this is going to be a fantastic month for you. This is going to be a month of smooth sailing where the rest of us are going to have a lot of adjustments. So either way, adjustments isn't bad, change isn't bad. Change is inevitable. That's the only thing you can truly count on. But it's understanding why those changes needed to be made and what areas and how we didn't see them clearly is really what the message of September is about. Okay, so if you want more information, by all means, contact me on my website below for private reading. I'm always available. And if you like this information, you find it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. And I'll talk to you next month. Have a great September. Bye.